Is Israel committing war crimes in Gaza? What happened after the Hamas attack? As the title says, basically I'm out of the loop beyond the Hamas attack. There's just so much misinformation online. And most the credible information are just videos from APF and such. Or short updates from BBC, Sky News. So if someone could please update me with what's going on in regards to the Israel bombing campaign in Gaza. Are they really bombing hospitals and churches? What exactly are their plans? Also, if anyone has in-depth articles or videos on the topic, that would be greatly appreciated. Something that's calm and takes time to read. Watch. I'm tired of the constant breaking news spam, where you can't wrap your head around anything. It's like two sentences wrapped up in drama. I'm kinda lost. ATM. Watched an interesting FPRI briefing on the conflict on YT last night. There was some disagreement between the guests, but what really jumped out for me as a soundbite was when Lior Sternfeld stated Israel has no interest in limiting the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. This rings very true to me, especially as the other guest, Joshua Krasna, had spoken earlier of Israel's desire to use force as deterrence, and even alluded to me. It seemed that Israel had failed to do this enough in recent history. IDK, is starving and bombing civilians a crime? Reddit, your one-stop shop for totally valid and accurate information about a violent conflict that has its roots in decades of turmoil, if not thousands of years of history. Try reading a book. They cut off water and electricity. I'd say that counts as a war crime. 100% they will be committing war crimes. They didn't give a shit about the Palestinians before. Happy to have them rot away behind the security fences while Israelis live with a Western standard of living. Now they will wipe Gaza off the map. Yes, it is. Israel is committing grave crimes and should be called out as such. Cutting off all supplies, water, electricity is a war crime. What Hamas did was despicable. And what Netanyahu is doing is equally despicable. They have cut water, food, and electricity to a mostly civilian population of 2 million people. So, yes, Israel is committing war crimes in Gaza. Now people will say, but Hamas. No matter what the context, what Israel is doing now remains a war crime and there is no way around it. Of course they do. Just if you got enough power, no one cares, right? Israel publishes their targets ahead of time. Hamas makes sure they published targets are full of children. Hamas also beheads children and targets civilians as recently demonstrated. I don't think the tone of this thread is honest. Serious question. Why are war crimes only ever brought up as a concern only after Israel and Jews have endured them? Hamas murdered babies and we have people saying it's part of Palestinian liberation law. I think Israel has shown magnificent restraint on the Gazan people. Imagine if Gaza had done this but it was China next to their borders instead of Israel. China would have flattened the whole strip and all of its 2.5 million residents by the end of the following Sunday and wiped their hands of this issue once and for all. Of course they cut off water and electricity for civilians among others. If that's not a war crime, then I don't know what is. Yes, of course, it's so clear. Hamas were raping women and beheading babies. Is that enough of a war crime for you? Hamas is committing war crimes by using Palestinians as human shields. There's no point of asking Redditors who are extremely based and only started caring about the conflict when Hamas attacked but totally ignored what Israel has been doing for past decades. UN, Amnesty, Human Rights Watch have declared time to time that Israel is committing war crimes. But of course, it doesn't fit the narrative. with regularity. We're going to do our best to ignore it while providing support. We have to square with that as a reality. Should have thought about that before electing a government that's cool with beheading babies, maybe? What country at war doesn't commit a war crime? It is impossible to hit any target on the Gaza Strip without having civilians near. And not all strikes are as accurate as the ones presented in media. War is hell. And one should not poke to start a conflict with a bigger adversary, especially without stronger allies. Palestinians need to learn some strategy. Even reading the short book of Sun Tzu would give them some wisdom to not start a fight before being in a position to win. Hamas is known to have bombed their own people for a photo op. One way or the other, hospitals, schools, and mosques may get bombed. I doubt there are any churches in Gaza. They hate Christians there and destroyed all the churches a long time ago. War crimes loses all meaning, I think, now. We're bombing Gaza to retaliate and show strength. But strategically, it's bankrupt. It needs to be done almost as a matter of course. But Israel can't truly destroy Hamas. When you support a group that shoots dead and burns babies, then celebrate and cheer those actions in the streets, then there should be no mercy for that country. Yes, their real objective is to commit genocide. Don't be blind. Is the OPA Hamas supporting troll? The media is chock full of videos and news, and he can't find anything and has to ask Reddit. Rolling on the floor laughing. It is a war crime to use humans as shields. This is the strategy of Hamas. It is not a war crime to continue to attack an enemy who uses humans as a shield. Hamas is solely responsible for any war crimes resulting from Israel's attacks on Hamas, whose entire infrastructure uses humans as shields. All collateral damage is blood on Hamas, not Israel. No Palestinians would be killed in bombings if Hamas didn't kill innocent women and children. Every bomb dropped on Gaza is the fault of Islamic fanatics, not Israel. What would you do if someone killed your entire family? By torturing babies, raping kids and boys, murdering grandmothers, lighting people on fire. I'd much rather get blown up than have my head cut off. Hamas uses Palestinian civilians as human shields, hiding in their homes like cowards, then run away like pussies when they get smoked like turkeys. I guess it's only a war crime when you kill white people. SMH. Russia bombing schools and hospitals. Media and Reddit. Russia are war criminals. All international community should rally and kick their ass. X200B. Israel bombing schools and hospitals. Media and Reddit. Well, actually, YouTube has decades of Noam Chomsky analysis of this conflict. Hamas is the villain in this situation. They will do anything they can to complete their plan of a second Holocaust. Anyone know how to block all content related to this war? Nothing, just keep a blind eye. If you want videos to see the horrific Israel's attack on children in Gaza, I can send it to you. Have a question for you. Did Hamas commit any war crimes or crimes when they attacked Israel? What would your response be to the situation? If you have any questions about the character of a nation-state organization, then read its charter. Israeli Constitution versus the Hamas Charter Covenant. That should clear things up pretty quick. Novara Media on YouTube? Israel tries very hard to limit civilian deaths, but it is near impossible to do so when Hamas shelters its people and equipment in civilian areas. They want as many of their own people dead as possible. Israel cannot be judged for these deaths when they give warning and a chance of evacuation in nearly every bombing run they do.